dance for joy or lust or anger.
So welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, the series where we look at nostalgic cars that you can buy that are over 15 years old. You can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 1991 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur 2. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? You might ask me straight away, what are you doing driving that car on Sensible Secondhand Classics? You were driving a Rolls-Royce. How can you buy one of these for under £5,000? Well, you can. I had a look, and there are several of them actually that you can buy. I maybe not recommend that particularly, as you have very deep pockets, but I'm surprised how much these cars continue to have sort of been quite low value in the classic car world, because they offer just an experience which is just like nothing else. We'll have a look at the interior in a bit, and that's what I'm particularly excited about, viewers. But this is the long wheelbase version of the Silver Spur. It was introduced in 1980, and they made versions of this car until the year 2000. You could get things like the Park Ward and other things like that. If you wanted more luxury, you could go for a lot more luxury even than this Silver Spur, which was more luxurious actually than the Silver Spur it was based on. Very similar underneath to the Silver Shadow, and the chap owned his car, Bill, he actually used to have a Silver Shadow back in the 70s. And there are some bits of switchgear that do look very familiar in some ways. The ride actually and handling are influenced by the fact we've got a Citroen type hydro-pneumatic suspension system in this car, and actually we've got automatic ride control in this Mark II model. It's very, very easy to drive, and the steering is incredibly light. One thing you do have to watch is the brakes. The brakes are not as good as I would have imagined in a car like this, but I think it's because it's so heavy. So you've got to be a bit careful. You've also got to be careful about the handling. The handling is not the sportiest ever, but the sort of person who bought one of these, including probably the chap who owned this car from new, who was a businessman from the north of England, and his Motorola car phone was actually stuck at the back of the car in the armrest. He wouldn't really be concerned about trivial things like how much power this car has, how much it's doing to the gallon. The driving experience. You'd be sitting in the back, probably with a large cigar, on the phone, making high-flying business decisions. For those of you who do want to know, if you are the chauffeur, like I am today, then you'll appreciate this is a 6.75 litre V8, which Rolls-Royce used for many, many years. It develops about 226 horsepower. Well, Rolls-Royce wouldn't even tell you that, but just say it was adequate. Well, it's very adequate, and also we've got no rev counter, so we don't know anyway. What we have instead is just a very sort of isolated feeling of going along the road and not being troubled by anything in the world whatsoever. You can afford to run one of these cars with your beige leather interior with wooden piping and your Motorola car phone in the back. Then you're going a long way to board meetings and things like that, and you're just not bothered. These days, again, sort of people who want to buy a car like this will just not be bothered by trivialities of life, and what we want to do is just kind of treat themselves to some of the best engineering there's ever been. I wouldn't say these cars are necessarily the most reliable cars. I mean, if you want something like this from 1991 that's going to be more reliable, you can buy a Lexus LS400. You can get one of those if you want, but then it's sort of missing the point of a car like this, which is about the kind of craftsmanship like sort of nothing else. A lot of the bits in this car they're handmade, and it feels just like I don't know, an old Rover P5 or something like that to drive. It's very, very sort of cosseted and comfortable, not at all sporty. You can go from 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds in this car, but you wouldn't really want to do that. It's not about that sort of thing. It's not about straight line speed. One thing you might want to do is go for the a Bentley Turbo R or a Mulsanne Turbo or something like that if you're after performance. You can actually get a more powerful version of this engine in the Flying Spur model, which was made in the 1990s, a turbo, which brought the power up to about 360 horsepower, which is probably more than adequate. What an absolute delight, viewers. This car dates from 1991. It's just before we brought in the 4-speed automatic transmission, but with the fuel-injected engine and some of the other bits that came with the Mark II models in 1989. Still got the big twin headlamps, which I think on some of the American market cars were changed. This Spirit of Ecstasy, I might play with that in a second to see that it sort of springs down if you try to steal it, which was apparently a thing back in the day. People tried to steal the mascots for the Rolls-Royces. Might have a go at that later, but just take in the proportions of the car. I mean, the Silver Spur is longer than the Silver Spirit. I think it's about 4 inches longer. You could get the touring limousines, or sometimes they're called the Park Wards, which are even longer than this, but that is completely adequate for most people's needs. It's a very big, imposing car, and I cannot believe, I probably said this already, but I cannot believe that with these, you can get one of these with an MOT for under £5,000. So we are actually within the budget for one of these, which is insane to me, absolutely insane. Big, wide, rear lights. One of the differences between this and, so say, a Silver Shadow is the fact that the lights are sort of longer. It was supposed to make the car look a bit sleeker. I don't know if that really works. It's just huge. I've also seen wheelie dealers back in the day, a Bentley Mulsanne that is very similar to this, but Ed China was working on, and in terms of taking off the rear bumper. The rear bumper is completely over-engineered, just like a lot of other things on this car, which is utterly fantastic. So we'll open up the boot. It's not quite as difficult as it looks. It just goes up. You want to be quite careful. It's quite a heavy thing. The spare wheel's actually underneath there, so we haven't got too much to say really. Very nicely lined. So Bill, who owns this car, used to have a Silver Shadow back in the day, and apparently the boot on that was a little bit more usable than this, which is weird, but there we go. You can fit a load of stuff in there, plenty of cases, everything like that, for all your executive needs. Battery isolator switch is just kind of there if you need it. Yeah, I mean, probably won't be fiddling around too much with this if you own the car. Like, it's for the chauffeur to do, isn't it? One thing I love about this car is just where every single detail has been considered and over-engineered. Even the way the doors open. Magnificent full walnut cappings, and of course a beige leather interior with wood and piping. Precisely the Rolls-Royce of beige leather interiors, viewers. Because it's a Silver Spur, we have all this legroom, and we've got thick pile carpets. We've got a massive armrest in here as well, and it's incredibly comfortable. It is just the executive's dream in here. I've seen some of these cars have like whiskey decanters and things in the bottom of here. This one doesn't have that. Unfortunately as well, you can actually move the seat with these controls down here, but they don't work. Quite a few electrics actually don't work in this car, which is probably common with these. But just everything is beautiful. Headline is absolutely beautiful. Beige leather headlining. We've got this multi-function rear armrest with an old Motorola mobile phone from 1991. Just even the way that this works like this. It's fantastic. Oh, viewers, are we ever going to beat this interior? I don't think we are. I just don't think we could ever beat this beige leather interior with wooden piping. We've got individual courtesy lights. You've got a little sort of mirror in there for, I don't know what, something, if you were feeling a bit vain. We've got these grab handles, which is, again, fantastic. Coat hook for your many jackets you might be wearing. You've got the picnic tables like this. I don't know what you'd be putting on there in 1991. It wouldn't be a sort of phone. You might fit a very small laptop on there, maybe. But look at all this legroom. It's absolutely ridiculous how much room there is in here. I am the chairman of the board. I have arrived, and I'm being taken around in leather-lined luxury with wood and piping. viewers, this is where you want to sit here, isn't it? Just rest your posterior after a hard day of international board meetings, and let the chauffeur do all the hard work, resting in the back of his silver Spur. Sensible Secondhand Classics has arrived, and we have arrived in style. So yeah, more over engineering. We've got this ashtray, individual cigarette lighters, actually 3 of these in the back, there's one in the front as well. Everything just feels of the highest quality, but some things bizarrely old-fashioned. We'll have a look at where the driver sits, where the chauffeur's going to be, and today I am the chauffeur, because I'll be driving Bill later. He'll be sitting in the back. Very, very sort of old-fashioned looking switches and things like that, which I think are off a Silver Shadow. I think these controls here are also very old-fashioned. We've got other things in here that are a bit more modern. We've got cruise control, we've got a trip computer. This being the Silver Spur 2, we've got a smaller steering wheel. Unfortunately, this seat is not working properly. The backrest works, but the back and forth doesn't actually function, which is okay. The passenger seat works. We might have to go in that. Key, just a very, very old-fashioned key, just sort of goes in here. And that's headlamp switch there. 3-speed at this time, GM automatic transmission on the column. Actually, this seems to be the fashion now, is to put the automatic gear lever in so many cars on the right hand side and the indicator on the left. It's a very different feeling one. You're not ever going to confuse these two stalks at night, are you? You never do that. Wiper control is here, so that is actually for the wash, which would also do the headlamp washers. That's for the wipers. You've got multiple intermittent speeds, and then normal, slow and fast. See if we can get the accessories on. Here we go. So we've got a little control here. The trip computer just sort of goes through like this. I've only got 78,000 miles on this car. Bizarrely, we've got another mileometer here. We've got both of them, and they don't actually add up. What? Anyway, I mustn't laugh about that. We've also got 2 stereos in here. Now this one here, the CD changer, that apparently doesn't work and never has worked. On top of here, we've got a more modern stereo. I'll just move that out of the way there. Originally, it would have been a tape player, so I'll just put that back for a second. Just keep that volume down. We don't want that going off. Keep that off. There we go. Excellent. We've avoided copyright infringement. And then loads of random switches down here. We've got the heating control, that's screen fascia and things like that. That's for the position of the air. Then that's whether you want the aircon on how cold you want it. You can give economy mode or off and things like that. Dual zone climate control there. That's the oil level switch. I don't know if we can press that and see whether it tells us. No, we'll have to start the car to see that. That's for the cutout with the electric rear windows, hazard lights, fog lamps. Apparently this is for actually opening the fuel door, but that doesn't work apparently. That is actually for the panel lights. It's a sort of variable control for there. We've got then, these are light controls for map lights and mirrors and things like that. Glove box is over here. I'm not sure when these secret mission documents are going in, which is a shame. It's very nice. And then we've got other electrics in here. The electrics on these are a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. The car actually came with a towed immobiliser, which someone had fitted, I think, somewhere in the 90s, which has been disconnected. So the seat control will just move this forward, and see that actually operates that bit. And we can see that operates this bit here, so we can go back and forth like this. We've got 2 massive beige leather armrests. We've got lots of wood on the dash. We've got somewhere to kind of hide bits in there. That probably would have had a cover, wouldn't it, originally? To sort of to hide your bits in there. Seat heaters, of course, multi-stage. Then the electric windows are on here for some reason, like on a Rover SD1, and just lots and lots and lots of more beige leather, more wood, more piping, more excitement. How can we possibly top this year? I think we're going to have to look at the engine. That might be a bit more rational and calm me down a bit, because I am excited. I've just realised that these are the controls for the ventilation. Amazing. And a tiny little clock and an active temperature gauge as well. So the famous Rolls-Royce 6.75 litre V8 that was introduced, I think in 1959 actually, originally, which is a smaller engine capacity. Thinking about 1970, 72, something like that, they introduced it to this capacity, which it remained for years and years and years. I think this engine was in use until about 2020 in some models of Bentley, which is bizarre. At this point, this is a 1991 car, so we've got fuel injection. Generating, Rolls-Royce didn't actually say back in the day, they said it was adequate, but we think it was about 226 horsepower that this car will be putting out. We've got ABS in here as well. I would think really you wouldn't be taking this to your local Halfords, you'd be having the car worked on by a specialist, and actually a service history with a specialist would be an essential thing on a car like this. You're probably best not buying one without one, because yeah, you can buy one of these for under £5,000 if you want. You probably don't want to though, because if you're spending the same again or more, getting all these problems fixed with it, it probably has. But yes, a nice sort of specialist service history would be what you're looking for something like this. If you want to feel like you're the chairman of the board at sort of very little money. Right, I think I'd better calm myself down for a bit, then we're going to go out for another drive. The steering is not very communicative particularly. It's a very, very light system. It's designed for sort of fingertip control, and so you don't want to sort of hustle this car too quickly through the bend. It's not really about that. There's a massive bulk of it is actually quite obvious as well when you are sort of pressing on. But that's fine. It's just not designed for someone who presses on all the time. It's designed for somebody who just kind of knows who they are and what they've got, and just doesn't really feel they need to impress anybody. We just look at the car as, you know, looking down the bonnet and seeing the Spirit of Ecstasy down there is impressive enough. You know, what more could you possibly need in life in something like this? Disappointing. Let's now look at some more of these facts about this beautiful Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. So this has the 3-speed General Motors automatic gearbox. Later, 1991, it was upgraded to a 4-speed unit. We've actually got ABS and an automatic ride height control system in this, which is dead fancy. The fuel tank is 107 litres, which is frankly bizarre. Like 9 miles per gallon is not going to last very long, is it? The Mark 1s are a bit different. They lasted till 89. The Mark 2s came in 89 and they lasted till 93. The Mark 3s are quite different. They have different styling and a different interior. The Mark 4s are different again. Actually, most of those got the sort of smaller radiator grille and things like that, with a smaller mascot. All the models towards the end were upgraded with a turbo engine, which made them a bit faster. I wouldn't say this car is particularly fast. It's not much faster than the Hyundai Getz that Bill owns, to be honest. Other models based on this platform were the Bentley 8, which we've driven last year, the Bentley Mulsanne, the Bentley Turbo R, the Bentley Brooklands, and then in Rolls-Royce, the Silver Spirit, the Silver Dawn, which was a very, very highly spec version of this towards the end, and then the Flying Spur, which came with the turbo engine. So viewers, should you consider a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit or Silver Spur for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000? I mean, you can get one of these for between £1,000 and £5,000 if you want. I wouldn't particularly recommend that. But yes, I've tried a little bit more and get one that's more like this, which is a lot more sorted. There are still things to do on this, but it's not as bad particularly. So yes, I will just say as well that Bill actually has a book out. It's called Love Against the Odds. So you can see there's his name there, which you can get from Pegasus Publishers on Facebook and other places. I haven't had a chance to read that yet, but that looks interesting. So Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again for some more extremely luxurious and reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.